Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you're choosing to watch this video. It's me, Terrell, and welcome to Coffee and Conversations. Today I want to talk about facing our fear, facing our trials, or facing our sin. And constantly being in that place where we're constantly wrestling, whether that be wrestling with the world, our thoughts. We wrestle with the very idea of being approved by the world. But we all know what the Bible says. The Bible says we're of this world, but we're not part of this world. You know, there was a man named Jacob who practically wrestled his entire life. In fact, he wrestled within his mother's womb with his brother Ishua. He wrestled with the very fact that his father Isaac loved his brother more. He wrestled with the fact that his brother would be receiving the promise of Abraham. So what does Jacob decide to do? He decides to not only deceive his brother, but he deceives his father into receiving the blessing of Abraham. And because of it, he flees for 20 years in fear of his brother. Now, after 20 years, God approaches him and tells him to go back to his homeland to worship him there. Now, you can only imagine what's going on in Jacob's head. He's fearful that his brother will kill him because of what he had done. So Jacob heeds the voice of God, but he decides to spend the night alone. And during this night, a mysterious man approaches him and he wrestles with this man. Now, this man is not an ordinary man. Jacob knows there's something about this man, and he continues to wrestle with him practically the whole night until the man asks him, "What is your name?" And Jacob answers him and tells him, "My name is Jacob." And the man tells Jacob, "From now on, your name is Israel," which means one who has wrestled with God. You see, Jacob was not just wrestling with the idea that his father loved his brother more. He was not only wrestling with the fact that he wouldn't be getting the promise of Abram, but he was wrestling with God himself, which is something we all seem to be doing. We're not only wrestling with the world, but we wrestle with God. When we're wrestling with sin, we are wrestling with God. For what? Most cases we're wrestling because we want approval of the world. And that's why Jacob would not let this man go. You see, Jacob was wrestling with God himself. And he knew that if he held on to God, that God would give him that blessing. You see, when we hold on to God, when we take our eyes off of the world and we hold on to God, God will give us a new identity. He'll give us a new name, and he will approve of us. Because that's what deep down a lot of us want. We want approval of the world. But when God gives us approval, that's all you need. So I want to encourage anybody who may be watching this video. Remember, there's no need to wrestle with the world. God approves of you. He loves you. And he will give you a new heart, a new name, new desires, because he approves of you. God bless you.